Notting Hill. Location for groundbreaking romantic comedies and eco-renovations. The weather's been pretty cold and dismal, but Jamie's not worried because his triple glazed French windows are in and he has heat.
Seeing him dancing over the joists like that, it's funny.
Nimble-footed. Pipes, we'll have two pipe runs in between each joist. So pipe will come down here, loop once because it can't go through here because this is a steel, back up, and when it gets up to the wall under your feet there, we'll cut a notch in this joist, and the pipe, which is roughly that diameter, will run through into the next one, and then we'll have another loop and then a notch, then run through and another loop and then a notch, and that way every square foot of the floor has a bit of pipe underneath and the heat will be evenly spread, theoretically.
Jamie, now we're standing in what's going to be your lovely living room. And last time I was here, I couldn't stand right here because you filled it in.
This is the finished article here. So this is a mixture of sand and cement, which is 30 mil deep. That's 3 centimeters. Inside are the plastic pipes, which have an aluminium core, which makes them very strong, through which the hot water runs.
That looks very complicated to me.
That's a pump, and it pushes the water around the floor. But the great thing about these manifolds is you can adjust them so that different areas of the room receive heat at different times. Now, this is an open plan room. It'll be my living room, so we don't need different areas to be heated at different times.
In a bathroom and a bedroom, you might not want
we'll look below.
Yeah.
Below there's a bathroom and a bedroom, and of course we can have different bits coming on at different times. Like a bathroom, you want the floor to be warm most of the time.
Yes.
A bedroom is not necessarily quite as important because you have your shoes on during the day.
And a duvet at night.
The idea of this sand and cement here is that it's an insulation layer in itself. Not only is it very strong and reinforced, we're walking on it. On top of this, of course, will go my solid wood floor. But the heat is spread evenly through the mixture, and it retains the heat as well, and that of course comes up then into the wooden floor. And below is the foam layer that has a
looks like polystyrene.
Yeah, it's like that, but the layer on top is like a foil.
Yes.
And that reflects the heat back up, so all the heat comes up.
Great. Great.
There's going to be hanging here.
Yes.
There's going to be
hanging sounds like
a water water tank in there for the pressure, and then this is going to be sort of chest and drawers.
Yes, yes. But look at this, I can see the heat pipes.
These poly pipes are basically plastic with an aluminium layer inside. So you've got plastic, then aluminium, then plastic. This stops absorption of oxygen into the central heating water, which would happen if there was no aluminium, if they were just plastic pipes, and that leads to bubbles in the central heating water, and that's why you have to bleed your radiators from time to time in the conventional system.
But you don't have any radiators, and you don't have to bleed
Well, exactly, but you'd have to bleed the sort of top floor of the central heating system or something like that.
Yes,
They're actually separate, because we've got these manifolds, of course, which allow the different areas to work at different times.
Great.
These, of course, will then be buried in the sand and cement
like upstairs.
Sort of screed that we saw upstairs. And on top of that will go the solid wood floor.
Fantastic. I recognise these windows, so they're your lovely triple glazed ones.
These are the new triple glazed units. They look as if they're plastic, but they're actually wood, and they're made from wood from a sustainable forest. They're triple glazed, so you've got 2 air pockets between the 3 panes of glass, which is like a double thermos flask.
Yes.
Interestingly enough, the effect of these windows, plus this is the wood fibre diffutherm board, which is 50 mil thick there on the external walls, meaning that there's no heat transfer from inside to outside.
And it's very, very cold.
Well, yeah, and more importantly,
you can always see our breath, but out there it's so frosty. And in here, not only do I feel like it's like the heat is staying in, but also it feels very soundproofed as well. Like our voices are not echoing like they do on a regular building site.
The builders now, when they come in, and they've got about 6 sort of builders' lights on so they can see what they're doing, even during the day. They're working in t-shirts, and there's no central heating on. The boiler hasn't been turned on yet or tested, but it is at least between sort of 6 and 10 degrees warmer than outside.
It'll be interesting next winter for us to come back and talk to you about how often you turn on your heating on a day like this, or how high you have to turn it without really needing to.
The way we'll be able to sort of measure it is just to see how much gas the boilers use. Because of all these insulatory measures we're using, the temperatures won't change.
Yeah.
This used to be a drafty old news house.
Yes.
And literally there were gaps up above and below the windows.
Yes.
The walls are very thin, and there were single pane windows. And if the heating was off on a cold day, the temperature dropped by 5 degrees in about half an hour.
And you could see your own breath.
It wasn't quite that bad. But the point is the boiler had to come on all the time, and it was wasting energy.
Yes, yes.
Whereas now it won't have to.
The heat was just going out the windows like pan notes floating out the windows.
This is right. Oh.
You've got wood fibre board on that side, but you've got the natural wool insulation here. Well, obviously they work just as well.
Well, we've got both here actually, because if you look closely, you've got the wood fibre board underneath.
Yes.
Then we've got the lamb's wool insulation. Then you've got the plasterboard layer, and of course the plaster will go on top.
Yes.
But that will also happen on that wall. It's just that this one's further advanced. It's the sort of thermos flask effect.
I feel a little bit like your living space is getting smaller and smaller. You keep putting insulation on the wall.
Funnily enough, this is why on the external walls we've got 50mm thick wood fibre board, because the heat loss to an external wall is much more. There's somebody living the other side of this, there's someone living the other side of that, and of course they presumably will have their houses heated at roughly the same temperature as I'll want mine heated.
It's more for sound.
Sound insulation as well. We've got thinner wood fibre board on these walls because we don't need as thick wood fibre board and we don't want to lose the space.
I mean, I'm teasing because it's like the
Peter and I discussed it, didn't we?
Like
how much smaller do you want to? You know, eventually we'll live in a box like this, the warmest box. We won't even need a boiler. Anyway.